exciting. We have learned a lot last year about using technology, although we really got a little overwhelmed with being on Zoom 24/7. What's cool though is that we can take this technology and use it in person right now and have an opportunity for all of us safely to participate together in an assembly. The first time we've ever done something like this. This also gives a chance for families to come and join us. And today we are here to celebrate something really, really exciting. So I'm Dennis Geikema, principal at Sankofa United. I'm really happy to see everyone here. And I'm going to turn it over right now to my friend Misha Karigasha to introduce our assembly. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Geikema and the Sankofa United family. I'm excited to be here. My name is Misha Karigasha, and on behalf of Oakland Unified School District, on behalf of Community Schools and Student Services, I'm excited to bring everyone together to honor and recognize the hard work and dedication by Sankofa United students and staff. Sankofa participated in OUSD's district and citywide attendance campaign for the month of August, along with many other Oakland Unified schools. Sankofa had the most families engaged with the attendance pledge. The attendance pledge created an understanding of what all parties will bring to the table in order to create positive and meaningful relationships, along with high quality opportunities for student success. Despite the complex challenges that the worldwide pandemic has brought to our communities, the staff, students, and families at Sankofa continue to push themselves to unprecedented areas. Our special guest to present this award is Yaphiet. He is an Eritrean American music producer, songwriter, video director, and graphics artist, hailing from the San Francisco Bay Area. He's entering his third decade in creating art in these mediums. He's been able to find an artistic home, building an inspiration drawn from creative geniuses like Steven Spielberg and Kanye West. Although his musical contributions are largely experimental in nature, they're reminiscent of the golden eras of 90s and hip hop R&B. He's heavily influenced by super producer Timbaland and his co-creator Missy Elliott, and Yaphiet continues down the trails they've blazed, meshing textured electronic sounds with clever and unorthodox songwriting. I would like to welcome Yaphiet and have him recognize and congratulate Ms. Geikema, Community School Manager Ms. Macklin, Attendance Specialist Ms. Stanley, and Mr. D, the BACR After School Lead Team, and the entire Sankofa family. Their connections with the families have made a huge difference for all. Yaphiet, if you'd like to say
I'll try to figure out you do some in the daytime and still.
If you'd like to say a few words, and then
All right,
please go forward to Mr. Geikema.
Just gonna play it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Yaphiet. Question for you, and you actually mentioned it a little bit when you were presenting the award to Mr. Geikema, but what does showing up every day mean to you?
Showing up for me, well, I work for myself now, so showing up for me means that's how I get paid. So if I don't show up, I don't make any money. But showing up, I mean, it just means doing your part, like everything's really a collaborative effort. So like you're always not the only person that's involved in whatever you're doing most of the time. And like, you don't want to let other people down. You always want to be responsible, you want to be reliable and just professional, and if other people are doing their job, you want to make sure you're doing your job. You don't want to make it hard for anyone else. So yeah, so showing up means doing your part. You always want to do your part.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Yes,
Mr. Yaphiet. Our first grade class and Miss Hadiyama's class wants to know, what instruments do you play?
Okay, so I started in percussion. So I played everything from the drum set to a triangle to an egg shaker. So played everything in percussion. Then after that, I moved on to brass instruments. So I played baritone, trombone, trumpet, French horn, and I play a little bass guitar. But yeah, those are the instruments I play.
Mr. Yaphiet, if you could have a conversation with your elementary school self, what advice or encouragement would you give?
I'd say try your hardest not to listen to what other people say about you, because most of the time you are as good as you think you are. And like, people and to not take it personally, because most people are just projecting like their own doubts onto you, you know? And yeah, that's what I would say. Just don't take it personal and just believe in yourself. And also just try to learn as much as you can, because like I was a stubborn kid. Like I felt like I didn't know how to learn. So it took me a while to like figure out how, like what my learning style was. But I think a lot of that had to do with me not being open to learning. So yeah, I would tell myself like just have an open heart and open mind and just be more receptive and getting and learning. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yeah, and actually believing that the teachers that want to help you are actually there to like really help you and help you figure things out.
Thank you, Yaphiet. Hey,
Yeah.
Anaya, a student at Sankofa United, wants to know what gave you the idea to become a musician and a producer?
Okay, so I actually started as a visual artist. So when I was a kid, I was an illustrator. And by the time I got to middle school, there was an art class there, but I guess I set the expectation for it to be like this super amazing art program, but it was disappointing. So I was like, man, let me try music. So I tried music, fell in love with it, and it just transformed the way I looked at everything. And by the time I got to high school, I knew I was going to be some type of artist. I was going to either do visual art or do music. And throughout my 20s and my career, I've just gotten to a point now where I can do both, you know, and my entire brand and my company is just a combination of both things, you know.
That is beautiful. You are in good company. This is a really creative environment here.
Yeah.
Every student at Sankofa United every week has an art class with Miss Mary and has
cool.
a music class with Miss Barsotti. So this
wow.
this is a school that embraces the visual and performing and musical arts.
Yeah, great.
And we understand that this is part of the full learning experience. So
I can't
appreciate you,
even
Yaphiet.
stress how important art and every like artistic outlet that I had, every art school my mom put me through shaped me. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person I am today because of those experiences. So that's great that you guys are doing that.
Beautiful. Mr. Karigasha, Patty and Miss Hadiyama, or sorry, Miss Araki's first grade class wants to know more about how do we get this awesome trophy?
Well, each month, last year we started not a competition, but a way of helping to promote positive attendance in our schools. And so every month we have a theme. And the month of August was the attendance pledge. And there are activities that schools engage with. And it may not necessarily be the school that had the best attendance or perfect attendance. It's maybe the schools that engage in the activities and the themes, mostly around building relationships and providing opportunities for kids to want to be at school every day. And so for Sankofa, this month of August was about the attendance pledge. And Sankofa had the most families during registration or signups that actually completed the attendance pledge. And so that was the goal for the month of August, and Sankofa, out of all the schools, was the one that had the most. And so I think, yep. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Karigasha. Yaphiet, there's several questions in the chat around your education, where you went to school and so on.
Okay, so I grew up in Alameda, and I did kindergarten through high school in Alameda. I went to a little bit of community college, and I actually left college because I had signed a record deal. And that's what I did throughout my 20s, played music, toured. And then when that started to fizzle out, I started to self-learn. I started going back to my roots, visual arts. And like I said, like I was a stubborn kid. Like I had to figure out how to learn. That's what I was doing. I was figuring out how to learn, you know, how to be the best artist I can be. And I spent years figuring out how to direct, how to do animation, how to do motion graphics. And yeah, I'm a self-learner.
Beautiful. Our fifth graders had a follow-up question. They want to know if you do any other collaborations. I don't know if they're looking to collaborate with you. That's an invitation, or if they want to know about collaborations that you've done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're an artist, you have to collab, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with another artist, but like I said when we first started, like everything's a collaboration, you know, like you need to be open to working with other people. You can't think that you're the only person that either knows it all or that you have to do everything yourself, you know, like everything's a collaboration, especially when you have people around you that are trying to help you. Like you should take advantage of that, trust me, because you're going to get to a point in your adult life where people are not going to want to help you, you know, and they're going to feel like you don't deserve to be helped. So you should learn to just accept help now and just take it, especially if it's free.
There you go. And Yaphiet, my friend Suave in Miss Gonza's kindergarten class, excuse me, wants to know, how do you rap?
Oh, I rap really well.
Mason in Miss Hunter's third grade class wants to know what your favorite instrument is these days.
My favorite instrument is the bass guitar, electric bass, yeah, because I'm more computer based these days, but that's like the only live instrument that I incorporate into my sound, because it's, you know, back in the day, you used to have like an entire setup and just every instrument, you know, like taking up space in your room. Like everything I need is in front of me on a laptop these days, but sometimes you just need that old school, like raw feel. And that's why I only play the electric bass now.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Yaphiet.
Yeah. I'll jump in with another question for you.
Emily, are you okay?
And I'm going to take you back again to your elementary school days. You were these kids' age.
Okay.
I think I may know this answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is there a specific subject, moment, or person? We know the subject from elementary school that helped shape you who you are today.
Oh, maybe definitely.
A person or a moment. We already know the subject.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it was two teachers, you know, that changed my life. My first grade teacher, Ms. Buss, she saw something in me, you know, that I didn't even see in myself yet at that time. And she saw the talent in me. And like when I was in first grade, I used to doodle a lot. I used to make comic books for like my classmates and pass them around. And I didn't even think that I could do that, you know, for a living. And then she saw it. She took me and my mom, she picked us up and took me to this interview to be interviewed for an art school. And they weren't even admitting kids that were my age, you know, like I was maybe a few years shy of like the required age limit. And she took us there, and then they had me do a sketch, and then they let me in. And I'm telling you, that moment changed my life forever. Like I didn't even call myself an artist until she made me realize that I am an artist, you know? And going back to what I was talking about listening to what other people say and comparing yourself to people, like you're as good as you think you are. Like, don't ever think you're not as good, because I feel like that's what I dealt with a lot growing up, is thinking that I wasn't as good as I was. And I'm grateful for her seeing that in me and for pushing me to be great.
Awesome.
Who are some of your other inspirations for music?
Okay, besides Kanye West, Timbaland, I'm 33. So I grew up in the 90s. So most of my inspiration comes from that. The golden era is what they call the golden era. So the Jay-Z's, the Erykah Badu's, the Lauryn Hills, you know. But I also listen to a lot of music that was from before my time. I'm big on soul music. I like bossa nova, Brazilian jazz. Like I'm all over the place because I think it's important to like listen to other artists, because I get inspiration from all art mediums. Anytime I'm making an album, I don't, you know, like it isn't, I guess, music that inspires that directly. I get all my inspiration from film, you know? So I think, yeah.
Awesome. It's definitely important to expand and have more opportunities to learn things that are not in our communities, in our neighborhoods, and in our comfort zone, because we can learn more from others and make us more well-rounded people. And so sometimes we don't realize that until we get older, but definitely the more experiences that you have, the more well-rounded and the more you're able to make yourself better and provide for others.
Exactly. It's just great to find inspiration in places that you wouldn't think you'd find it.
Yeah, we have some comic book fans in our 5th grade class, Mr. Fig's
class. Cool.
I know more about the titles of comic books that you like.
Okay, cool. So, I'm not a big comic book fan. Like I love comics, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you an issue that's my favorite. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a big Marvel fan. I love superhero movies. I love the cartoons and all that. Yeah. But for the record, I'm a Marvel person, not a DC person.
There's two kinds of people in this world.
Yeah.
Listen,
I used to be a DC person, but yeah, I'm a Marvel person now.
This is such a great opportunity to celebrate all of our students and our families for really attending to attendance, to making that a priority. Yaphiet, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy career and your day to be here. Your presence is just awesome and an inspiration. We look forward to having you visit us in person here on our campus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mr.
Come in and do a music class.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Barsotti, did you hear that? She's on our music teachers here. I'm sure that they talk about collaboration. There's many opportunities here.
Definitely so. And I think
it's much fun.
Yeah, and definitely so. Take this partnership, Yaphiet, Mr. Gaikama, music teachers. If there's ever opportunity for any real life in person stuff for collabs, this is how we build partnerships and communities.
Definitely.
And with that, I would like to just say, I want to congratulate the entire Sankofa community. You guys have done an amazing job in such a difficult time and challenging time over the last year and a half. I want to thank Yaphiet for representing today, taking the time for our young people to share your experiences and knowledge, and be open about who you are and what experiences you had when you were their age. And with that, on behalf of Oakland Unified School District, Community School Student Services, I want to wish everybody a safe and a happy and supportive weekend. Again, congratulations, Sankofa.
Congrats. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Teachers, please stay on. Thanks again, Yaphiet. Thanks again, Nisha. Thank you, Eileen, and everybody for making this happen. Appreciate you all. Thank you, Ms. Erica, for your leadership